Paul Newman, one of Hollywood's most iconic actors, led a life defined by brilliance, intensity, and quiet generosity. Born in Shaker Heights, Ohio, in 1925, he emerged from a middle-class upbringing to become a global star, known not just for his acting, but for his integrity, humanitarian efforts, and multifaceted pursuits. Newman's story was never just about fame. It was about perseverance, creativity, and dedication, whether on screen, on the racetrack, or in philanthropic ventures. Behind the charm and icy blue eyes was a man of depth, intelligence, and emotion, capable of both warmth and intense personal convictions. His career spanned decades, marked by unforgettable performances, bold personal choices, and a steadfast commitment to family and social causes, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire long after his passing. Early life and military service. Paul Newman was born into a family of Jewish and Catholic heritage, growing up in Shaker Heights, Ohio. From a young age, he displayed a passion for performance, participating in school plays and immersing himself in artistic pursuits. Like many of his generation, his early life was shaped by World War II. Newman served in the United States Navy as a radio operator and turret gunner in the Pacific Theater, experiences that instilled discipline, humility, and a strong sense of responsibility. Following his military service, he pursued higher education at Kenyon College, later studying drama at Yale University and the Actors Studio in New York. Mentored by legends like Lee Strasberg, Newman honed his craft with patience and rigor. These formative years blended the rigors of military life with artistic exploration, creating a foundation for the discipline, emotional depth, and authenticity that would define his extraordinary acting career. Rise to Hollywood stardom, Newman's breakthrough in film came in the 1950s, with early roles that showcased his natural charisma and intensity. In Somebody Up There Likes Me, 1956, he portrayed boxer Rocky Graziano, revealing both raw talent and magnetic screen presence. However, it was his performance as Brick and Cat on A Hot Tin Roof, 1958, opposite Elizabeth Taylor that cemented his Hollywood stardom. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Newman became synonymous with the anti-hero archetype, bringing flawed yet compelling characters to life. Films like The Hustler, HUD, Cool Hand Luke, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid established him as an actor capable of deep psychological nuance. Newman's icy blue eyes and quiet intensity made him a heartthrob, yet his peers respected him for his dedication and skill. His ability to balance charm with authenticity allowed him to transcend typical Hollywood stardom, making his performances resonate with both mass audiences and critical insiders alike. Mastery of the craft. By the 1980s, Paul Newman had solidified his reputation as a masterful actor, demonstrating a rare combination of versatility, depth, and consistency. Roles in The Verdict, 1982, highlighted his dramatic range, while The Color of Money, 1986, directed by Martin Scorsese, brought Newman an Academy Award for Best Actor, long overdue recognition of his immense talent. Revisiting the character of Fast Eddie Felson more than 2 decades after The Hustler, Newman brought a subtle gravitas, portraying a man shaped by experience, regret, and wisdom. Critics lauded his performance for its authenticity and emotional resonance, praising the nuanced reflection of ambition tempered by age. Even later in his career, films like Nobody's Fool, 1994, showcased Newman's ability to inhabit complex characters, conveying humor, pathos, and lived experience with ease. These decades demonstrated that Newman's craft was never static. His talent matured alongside him, deepening his understanding of human emotion and cinematic storytelling. Personal life and first marriage. Paul Newman's personal life was as layered and compelling as his professional one. His first marriage, to Jackie White in 1949, occurred during his early years of struggle in theater and acting. At the time, Newman was only 24 and still finding his footing, balancing artistic pursuits with family obligations. Together, they had 3 children, Scott, Susan, and Stephanie. Navigating financial uncertainty and career pressures while raising a young family tested Newman's resilience. And though the marriage ultimately ended in divorce in 1958, it shaped his understanding of family, responsibility, and personal growth. The early experience of balancing love, ambition, and duty influenced his later choices, fostering a deep appreciation for stability and partnership. His first marriage also provided emotional context for his later humanitarian work and his enduring commitment to his children and their well-being. Enduring love with Joanne Woodward. In 1958, Newman married actress Joanne Woodward, beginning a union that would endure for 50 years and become a model of stability in Hollywood. Their love story started on stage and screen, deepening through shared projects like The Long Hot Summer. Together, they had 3 daughters, raising a family grounded in mutual respect, shared values, and artistic collaboration. Unlike many celebrity marriages, Newman and Woodward's bond flourished despite fame and industry pressures. Public admiration for their connection grew alongside private acts of loyalty, from working together professionally to supporting charitable efforts. Their partnership exemplified how deep love, trust, and mutual support can thrive even under the intense scrutiny of Hollywood. Newman frequently praised Woodward publicly, highlighting a commitment to fidelity and mutual respect that mirrored his personal philosophy, making their marriage one of the most celebrated in entertainment history. Passion for racing and humanitarian work beyond film, Newman pursued diverse interests, from auto racing to philanthropy. He competed professionally in the 1970s and 1980s, co-owning Newman/Haas Racing and finding in speed a sense of exhilaration outside acting. His passion for racing reflected his dedication, risk-taking, and desire for authentic engagement in life. Perhaps even more remarkable was his philanthropic impact. In 1982, he co-founded Newman's Own, pledging all profits to charity. What began as a small salad dressing business evolved into a global brand, donating over $600 million to various causes. He also founded the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp for seriously ill children, transforming countless lives. Newman's humanitarianism revealed a man who measured success not only in accolades and box office numbers, but in the positive influence he could have on others, blending creativity, wealth, and compassion into a lasting legacy. Rivalry with Richard Burton. Despite a reputation for calm dignity, Newman harbored personal dislikes, particularly for Richard Burton. The animosity went beyond professional rivalry into personal contempt, shaped by Burton's public bravado, private recklessness, and egocentric tendencies. Newman admired talent and charisma, but he disdained self-promotion at others' expense. The feud was intertwined with Burton's tumultuous relationship with Elizabeth Taylor, whose talent and poise Newman respected. He viewed Burton's influence on Taylor as destructive and publicly humiliating, and often expressed frustration at the chaos Burton brought into professional and personal spheres. Newman's dislike of Burton was rooted not in envy, but in principles, integrity, and a sense of justice. This reveals a man who, despite his fame and charm, maintained strong moral and personal convictions, unwilling to compromise his values even in Hollywood's competitive, egocentric environment. Later, years and health struggles. In June 2008, it was publicly revealed that Newman had been battling lung cancer, shocking fans and peers alike. Diagnosed at a prestigious cancer center, Newman had privately confronted the disease for 18 months. His struggle underscored his reserved nature, maintaining dignity while facing a serious health challenge. Years of heavy smoking contributed to the illness, though he had quit decades earlier. Even in declining health, Newman remained committed to family, philanthropy, and professional engagement, demonstrating resilience and grace. His private approach to suffering reflected a lifelong pattern of humility and control, handling personal challenges quietly while continuing to influence the world through action rather than spectacle. The diagnosis highlighted the vulnerability behind his legendary persona, offering insight into the human side of a man often idolized for cinematic brilliance and public generosity. Legacy and passing Paul Newman passed away on September 26, 2008, at 83, at his home in Westport, Connecticut. Surrounded by loved ones, his death marked the conclusion of an extraordinary life spanning 8 decades of artistic achievement, entrepreneurial success, and philanthropic dedication. A private funeral reflected the intimate, understated approach he preferred, yet his impact reverberated globally. Newman's legacy endures through his films, charitable foundations, and the model of personal integrity he embodied. He demonstrated that fame could coexist with humility, creativity, and moral purpose. From his iconic roles to his lasting marriage with Joanne Woodward and humanitarian contributions, Newman leaves a blueprint for living a meaningful, multidimensional life. His story reminds us that true greatness lies not only in talent, but in character, compassion, and the courage to act on one's principles.